Great. Staff ready?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. This meeting of the Preservation Board is now in order. I'm going to call a roll to establish who's here and to see if we have a quorum. I am present. Commissioner Robinson, are you here? Commissioner Hamilton, are you here? Commissioner Colleen, are you here?
Present.
Commissioner Richardson, are you here?
Present.
Commissioner Allen, are you here? Commissioner Hammaker, are you here?
Present.
Alderman Coder, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay, we have established who's here. I notice a quorum. Commissioners, which of you has read the minutes of December 29th, 2022?
I move to approve the minutes of December 29th, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Commissioners, who's read the minutes from January 12th, 2023?
I move that we approve the minutes of January 12th, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Commissioners, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, the minutes for January 12th, 2023 are approved. Commissioners, looking at today's agenda, which is all appeals of denials, does anybody need to recuse themselves from the discussion or consideration of any of these items? Okay. Staff has asked that we consider agenda items A and B together. Is that okay with everyone?
Fine.
Okay, then, let's begin this meeting, and I'll call agenda items A and B, which is 1224 and 1230 craft.
Before we begin, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to remind everybody who in attendance, the meeting is being recorded. And if you wish to speak on any agenda item, please put your full name and the address of the agenda item in the chat. We'll call on you when we get to public comment for that agenda item. Comments posted in the chat don't count towards public record. So if you want to go on the record on an agenda item, you actually have to speak to that. So, all right. So
Meg, I would add to that also that these are all appeals. So I will ask everyone who addresses us to affirm that they're going to be telling the truth.
okay. I am Meg Lusto of Cultural Resources Office, and I swear to tell the truth. The first two items before you today are, we've asked to consolidate them because they're from the same developer. They're one house apart and they're essentially the same request. So you've heard this before. I believe it was in November. We have now had feedback from the alderman and some people in the neighborhood. So I will go over the what's being proposed. So the applicants are requesting to demolish the houses at 1224 Craft. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me start the PowerPoint. 1224 Craft and 1230 Craft here and here. They are located in the High Point area of the Dogtown neighborhood. These are better photos of them. This shows you the streetscape.
Hey, Meg, I cannot see what you're showing us.
Oh, sorry.
Same problem.
Sorry, guys.
Damn, I thought it was me.
No, it's me. Okay, so 1224 and 1230 Craft here and here. These are two properties located one house apart in the High Point neighborhood of Dogtown. Here are some more up close photos. And here's some photos of the streetscape showing the steep embankment. Gets a little steeper as it goes downhill. So the applicants are requesting that you overturn our denial of the request to tear down both of these buildings. We evaluated these based on ordinance 64689. And I would like to enter into the record enabling ordinance 64689, preservation review ordinances 64832 and 66609, this agenda, the PowerPoint, and my presentation. So The current owners purchased these buildings in February of 2022. We had denied the demolition application as the buildings were determined to be merit buildings in sound conditions, and the applicants have appealed, and the matter is now before you. 1224 Craft, which is this one, is a merit structure, a modestly detailed example of the shotgun house property type, a one-story brick structure with low sloped roof constructed in 1910. Its two-bay front facade presents a transommed entry sheltered under a small hipped roof porch and a large flat arched window. Above, a turned metal cornice is supported by a simple frieze formed by brick dentils and projecting brick string courses. The shaped parapet has simple corner pinnacles and is capped with terracotta coping. There have been small alterations, the most prominent being glass block in front of the basement window. However, they do not significantly affect the house's individual integrity, nor its contribution to the streetscape and neighborhood. At 1230 Craft, it's a merit structure, a finely detailed example of the shotgun house property type, a one-story brick structure with a low sloped roof constructed in 1910. Its two-bay front facade presents a single door with transom and an original large 3/1 window set beneath a steel lintel. Above, a turned metal cornice is supported by a simple frieze formed by brick dentils and projecting brick string courses. The shaped parapet has a central gablet and is capped with molded turned metal. There have been minor alterations on this house as well. The original gabled porch has been replaced with a plywood enclosure, and a front deck has been constructed, both now deteriorated, and the parapet cap is missing. Like the other house, though, the changes do not significantly affect the house's individual integrity, nor its contribution to the streetscape and neighborhood. So we further evaluated these based on the criteria in the ordinance, and we found the buildings to be sound under the definition in the ordinance. We addressed neighborhood effect and reuse potential, noting that on this block face, the house is one in a row of 7 similar small scale brick buildings. On the rest of this in the facing block, 1- and 2-story houses dominate. The exceptions are 2 houses to the north of the site, which are here. Both are newly constructed 3-story houses with deep setbacks, long driveways and garages on the first floor. Reuse potential, we note that there's a lot of real estate activity in the area. We also note that there are setbacks to, there are drawbacks to the site, mainly a lack of alley access and the small size of the current buildings. We have not been presented with any information on economic hardship. So our evaluation found that, and I want to show you now some renderings that we did here in the PDA office about what this would do to the block. See, first, let me just show you some of the drawings that were submitted. This would be the front of both of the buildings. You can see the first floor is a garage. You would walk up here to get access to the main floor, which is the second floor. We have side elevations here, and then the elevation in the rear. This is the site plan, and this is part of the issue that we have with the proposal. This concrete driveway here would be carved into the site, and you can see here and here, the excavation would create peninsula houses, 2 of them, along with this house here, which would then be supported by retaining walls, and it would create a very strange effect, and it would also harm the streetscape. It would remove off-street parking, and it would just, well, let me just read you what our conclusions were. The project would be architecturally incompatible with the existing block face, both its overall character and exterior materials. The proposals would demolish existing houses at both 1224 and 1230 Craft for the construction of 3-story single-family buildings. As there is no alley to provide vehicular access, the proposed design would provide off-street parking via front entry 2-car garages facing the street. The front yard of both houses would be excavated and wide driveways / parking areas created, entirely disrupting the steep terracing of the block. The intervening house at 1228 Craft here and another at 1222 Craft here are not part of this project, and thus would be isolated and flanked by high retaining walls on each side property line. Proposed houses themselves are also not compatible with the existing neighborhood, being far larger in mass and scale, with stuccoed front facades and large projecting decks of unfinished wood. I should note that we have, when we submitted to board members, letters from an immediate neighbor, a member of the neighborhood, and also from the alderman, Brett Narayan, in opposition to the project as proposed. questions.
Did you receive any letters in support?
No,
Thank you.
Meg, who did this board approve the existing, I guess, new construction to the west on the same block?
I believe that was approved at the staff level, but it was several years ago, and I don't have any specific records about that. I do know that there was a single house there. I just gleaned that from looking at Google Earth in the Wayback Machine, but the impact of these two new properties, two new houses would be even more significant, I think, because of the depth of the terrace that happens further down the block face. So, let's see. This would be excavated and this would be excavated. It's about 6 feet.
I mean, would we be having this discussion if these properties were next door to each other, if we had adjacent shotgun houses that could be demolished?
I think that would depend on whether there were adjoining houses, because the house here, for example, one of the letters you received is from this property owner.
Okay, that's the Thatcher letter.
No, that's the other letter.
Oh,
I don't remember her name offhand.
Bridget Patterson, maybe?
Yes, yes. So she would still, her house would still be on a sort of a ledge, and they would build a fence. That's part of their plan. And if they're here, I'm not sure if anyone's here from the applicant, but you know, they're prepared to address concerns of neighbors, but I'll let them speak for themselves.
Further questions, commissioners?
Yeah, I just had one question. It looked like the owners, there's two different names for the owner. One property is Sam's and Sons and the other is HSE Investments, but you're telling me they're the same.
It's the same entity, yes.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Further questions, commissioners? Okay, is the appellant present, Meg?
I do not see them in the waiting room, I mean, in the room. I don't see anyone whose name I recognize in the,
Okay, is there anybody signed up to speak?
no.
Okay. Commissioners, that concludes testimony in this appeal. Commissioner Richardson, have you got a motion?
Yeah, I move that the Preservation Board uphold the director's denial of the application for 1224 Craft and 1230 Craft to demolish the respective single-family bricks residential buildings because the criteria for demolition has not been met under the Preservation Review District ordinance.
second,
Is there any discussion? Commissioners, hearing no discussion, I'm going to call the roll. Alderman Coder, on this motion, do you vote yes or no?
yes.
Commissioner Hamaker, on this motion, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson, on this motion, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen, on this motion, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Chair abstains on this vote, but there are 4 yeses. There are no nos, and the appeal is denied. Or precisely, the appeals are denied. Thank you, commissioners. Calling next 1823 South 10th Street.
Hello, everyone. Just one sec. Just gonna check really fast here. Just give me 1 second, guys. We're sharing our chats. We're trying to figure out, make sure everybody's sent up to speak. So just 1 second. Okay, I think we're good. Got it. Okay. So moving along to the next item. First up, I'm Bob Bettis with staff, and I will tell the truth. Need to enter in ordinances 64689 as amended by 69423, and the Soulard ordinance, which is 57078, my PowerPoint, my staff report, and my presentation. So what we have is an appeal to repaint or to paint some unpainted brick, and also to paint some previously painted masonry on the building you see before you. Can you guys see? Okay. Okay. So just really quickly, give you some background here. Here's the location. Kind of the northwestern edge of Soulard. Here is some context at the street level. On the right, on the left side, this is the street looking to the south. Okay, so this is the building prior to the complaint. We received a CSB complaint for the painting of this building. As you can see, the majority of the brick is unpainted. There were some elements that were painted white previously, and which was the foundation, and then some brick elements around the windows and up at the cornice. That was paint, that was not glazed brick from what I understand. So what has happened, excuse me, the owner painted the entire front facade. It's just the front facade only, it's not the sides, just the front. Painted the brick red, and then the foundation black, and then the other white elements, they were painted black as well. The Soulard code says under maintenance, you can paint the same color if it's painted, if it's masonry, or you can paint the color of the underlying material, again, if it was painted previously. All unpainted masonry is not allowed to be painted. So in this instance, he could have painted the foundation as well as the other brick elements white, but that was all that would be allowed under the maintenance portion of the ordinance. So all of this is in violation essentially. We have heard from the SRG, they are not in support of the applicant's pursuit of an exception to the code. As we stated before, and we've said many times, painting of unpainted brick is a bad idea in general. And also it's really done a disservice to this building. It's really changed the character of the building. It's done a lot of negative stuff to it. So staff recommends that you uphold the denial. Trying to think what else to tell you. I did talk to the applicant who is here and will speak. I sent him some options to work with some masons to perhaps remove the paint, but he has said that he has not pursued that to this point, and he's going to plead his case to you. So, are there any questions?
Commissioners, questions?
Chairman, just a comment. As alderman for the area, I also don't support this appeal. I'm real disappointed with what's been done to this building. It looks ridiculous. I mean, it doesn't match anything in the neighborhood. And anyone who buys a house in Soulard, a neighborhood of such historic value should know what they're doing. And this is disappointing. It's also an Airbnb, further eroding from our single family available housing stock in the neighborhood. Thanks.
Further questions from commissioners? Okay, then, let's hear from the appellant.
Arinder, you are here. Yeah, you're still muted, sir. There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Tell us your name and affirm that you're going to tell the truth.
Yeah, my name is Narendra Makar, and I will tell you the truth, nothing but the truth. Okay, when I painted the building, there was another building which the previous speaker almost kind of ignored to say that there is nothing like that on the street. There is a building like 4 houses down the road, same street, but next block. And that is painted same color. And to my ignorance, I did not know that I do need the permit to paint the building. Otherwise, I would have done that. We did tuck point and we did a lot of work before painting, and we did get the permit, and I would have really applied for the permit if I had known that. But having said that, so that building was being painted at the same time when I did, and I just saw that building looks good, and that's why actually I copied that color. I got the code of the color from the same owner, from the owner of that building, and I painted. And I had no idea that I'm not supposed to paint. I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just trying to state my ignorance to this. And when I was painting, the inspector in that area, Mark Wood, maybe I forgot the name, And he was passing by, he said, it looks good. And he's the one who complained it. That's really surprising. Rather than giving me a warning or telling me, hey, Narendra, you're not supposed to paint this. He's the one who went and complained about it, which is fine. But that's what happened. I have contacted some companies to really scrape the paint and undo it. It says it look ugly. It will not be the same. But as far as the bottom part is concerned, that can be easily painted white, back white. I'm willing to do that if the board members can consider that. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Bob, has anybody signed up to speak?
No, and if I could just, as a quick rebuttal, there was a property down the street. I believe this might be the building in question that the applicant is speaking to. It's been painted this way since 2011 at least, so we really have no way. It's obviously it's done incorrectly, but we have no way of pursuing that violation since it's so old. So if this is the building in question, it's really kind of an apples and oranges kind of thing. Because it can be repainted. So again, it was done so long ago. And then also I like to report, the inspector did not turn in the applicant also.
Okay, that's fine. Commissioners, this concludes the testimony in this appeal. Commissioner Hamaker, have you got a motion?
Sure. I motion that the Preservation Board uphold the director's denial of the application to paint unpainted brick as the work does not comply with the Soulard Local Historic District standards.
Does your motion include the stone in the foundation?
In what sense?
So denying his application to paint the unpainted brick and also denying his request to paint the foundation.
Yes,
Okay,
it does include that. Thank you.
cool. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, commissioners, thank you. I'll call a roll on this motion. Alderman Coder, on this motion, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Hamaker, on this motion, do you vote yes or no?
Yes,
Commissioner Richardson, on this motion, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen, on this motion, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Chair abstains on this motion. I count 4 yeses, 1 abstention. The appeal is denied. Thanks, commissioners. I'm going to call agenda item D, which is 4344 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive.
I'm Andrea Gagan. I swear to tell the truth. I need to enter into the record, the agenda, the PowerPoint, the presentation, and a letter from the St. Louis Development Corporation, as well as the enabling ordinance 64689 submitted by 64925, and the bill ordinance 60237 is amended by 67174. Okay, this is the lot in question at 4344 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. Here is a location map showing the entire parcel. And this is a current map of the topographic survey of the lot. The darker speckled part is the concrete, existing concrete and foundation slab. Okay, the proposal is to reconstruct a 1-story concrete block and metal commercial building at the southern edge of the Ville Historic District. The owners intend to reuse the foundation that remains from an earlier Family Dollar store on the site, destroyed by fire in April of 2022. It was subsequently demolished. The Cultural Resources Office staff discussed with the architect possible changes to the building design to bring it into compliance with the historic district standards. But the owners have decided to proceed with the original proposal. Because of the time required for these discussions, the application was administratively denied on January 12th, 2023, due to review time constraints, and the owners have appealed. Here's a aerial view showing the previous Family Dollar building. And a view from the street, Google Street View showing the previous building. The owners are basically proposing to rebuild exactly what was there. There's an elevation of the proposed building. The top portion is our metal panels, and the front, on the front, the bottom portion is split face concrete block that's been painted. The east side of the building is partially concrete block and partially metal, and the other two sides are metal panels, or proposed to be metal panels. This is, and actually, let me go ahead and, the building does not comply with the historic district standards in several ways. The exterior materials do not comply, as the materials are not compatible with the original building materials in the historic district, or which are primarily brick and wood. As I said before, that currently they're proposing concrete block and metal panels. The details of the building also do not comply, as the historic district standards require that it have a historic storefront design, which would typically have a transom, storefront window, and bulkhead. The building currently proposed has a contemporary storefront design. And then the last thing that does not comply is the parking. The historic district standards require that the majority of the parking for proposed building be located between or behind the building or to the side. And the majority of the parking for this is in front of the building, between the building and the street. The proposed, like I said, let's see here, just let me show you some context. These are the buildings to the east and west of the lot. This is some context across the street, just school building. And just looking up and down Martin Luther King. The proposed site for the new buildings within boundaries of the Ville Historic District. The applicant proposed to rebuild on the existing foundation of a previous building that was demolished due to fire damage. The Crow had originally approved those plans in 2005. The design of the proposed building does not comply with the Ville Historic District standards in citing exterior materials and detailing and location of the parking. The property also falls within the North Newstead Avenue, College Avenue, Whittier Avenue, Page Boulevard, Chapter 99 redevelopment area established in 2021 by Ordinance 71325, and appears to be in conflict with several of the urban design regulations of that ordinance. And I will read the letter from the St. Louis Development Corporation, from Neil Richardson, the president and CEO.
Could you summarize it?
Sure. Basically, it states that it falls within the redevelopment plan, which was dated December 15, 2020. It does not comply with the site configuration, which requires buildings to be a similar location as other buildings on the block, which are either near or at the building line. And it also does not comply with the redevelopment plan, and all new materials that are visible from the street should be compatible in type and texture with the dominant materials of adjacent buildings, which are mainly brick. And it said, for reasons outlined above, the land clearance for redevelopment authority cannot approve building permit number in the AB number for the construction plans dated November 23rd, 2022.
Great, thank you. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay, commissioners, questions for staff?
So that was from LRA. What about the alderman? Any news from the alderman?
I don't believe so.
And is there a neighborhood association that chimed in?
Yes, there is, so what? Yes, sir. Yeah, there is someone here to speak from the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions, commissioners?
Yeah, I just had one. So the staff or this board approved the building in 2005. Is that what you said?
Yes,
So was it the board or was it staff? Or we
I
don't know?
believe it was the previous director staff.
And was the bill ordinance around by then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
I guess I want to clarify that, if I may. So the stat, that was approved by Director Krasnoff, I guess, and then,
No, it was Kate Shea.
oh, Kate did that. Got it. Okay, so, but that's long ago expired.
Yes. Say 19 years ago. 19 years ago, yeah.
Thank you.
Further questions? Okay, let's hear from the appellate, please.
Hello, board. Thank you for your service. My name is Kurt Kruger. I promise to tell the truth. I work for Verve Design Studio. I was contacted somewhere around April of last year to basically rebuild this building based on the original plans, update the plans for architectural code issues, and the owner has the intent to rebuild this building for another Family Dollar with insurance revenue or insurance funds only. There was no plan to invest additional monies. It was the owner of the property is a real estate ownership group. They own properties, and most of those are triple net properties in that they do not maintain. This is owned, the store or business is owned and operated by Family Dollar. Family Dollar does want to continue the lease at this location, so the ownership group has pursued insurance funds to redevelop as it was. We have made an attempt to reach out to the aldermen, but have not heard anything back from them. We appreciate your consideration for this appeal, and we hope to rebuild and bring back a vibrant new Family Dollar store.
Does that conclude your appeal, sir?
I believe so.
Okay, thank you very much. Was your testimony the truth?
It was.
Great. Is anyone here signed up to speak? I see Ms.
Yes, I
Earl.
am.
Who said that?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it in order.
Tashara Earl.
Ms. Earl?
Yes. I'm here. Am I allowed to speak now, or did you need for me to state something?
Richard, you're muted.
You're muted. You just need to agree to tell the truth.
No wonder you can't hear me. Okay, Ms. Earl, tell us your name. Tell us you're going to tell us the truth, and go ahead.
I, Tashara Earl, agree to tell the truth.
Excellent. Proceed.
Okay. The bill has local historic district standards that should apply to all the owners and developers that are coming into the neighborhood. Equitable development and respect for those standards should be a top priority for that new construction of the Family Dollar on Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. The needs of the Ville neighborhood are best served if the owners and the developers show a commitment to proceeding more openly and respectfully, also by demonstrating a willingness to comply with the historic district standards. Our community is advancing in its effort to revitalize our neighborhoods, creating and maintaining this beautiful streetscape by preserving the historic district standards is paramount to us. The owner and the developers, as well as the community, should work towards this common goal to preserve and strengthen our neighborhood's infrastructure in order to attract more development that serves the needs, desires, and the interests of our residents. And then also, the owner has been made aware of the many safety issues that concern the residents. It will be in the best interest of the owner to carefully consider all of these safety concerns from the public and to be more proactive in establishing these prevention measures during the redesign phase. And last, I don't agree with providing any type of tax incentive to provide to these developers if they do not comply with the necessary requirements. I am in support of the denial of the appeal to reconstruct their building on this existing foundation until they meet the community expectations. We are simply demanding that there is demonstrated respect and a commitment to the following of the rules of the ordinance in our beautiful historic district by improving the sidewalk conditions, hiring and training a management team that would be responsible for the business and the facility. And last, we ask that the owner will cooperatively engage the community to learn how the prior issues were resolved and to continue to create community development that is mutual beneficial to all of us. Thank you, and I'm finished.
Thank you. Several of those requests are beyond our scope, but I would tend to agree with them. Who's next?
Aaron Williams.
Mr. Williams?
Representing several groups in the neighborhood, primarily the Ville Collaborative in this context, but also for the Ville and Northside Community Housing. I'm here to express my support of the Director of the Cultural Resources Office in denying the appeal.
Before you do, is your testimony going to be the truth?
Yes,
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. Proceed.
no problem. I forgot that part.
So did I.
I'm support. I am here to support upholding the denial of the Ville, Greater Ville, Kingsway East, and Vanderbilt neighborhoods are committed to restoring the historic fabric of Dr. Martin Luther King Drive as the commercial corridor of the neighborhoods. Reconstruction of the Family Dollar on the existing foundation would not protect the historic district standards, which require the new building to be positioned so that the existing setback pattern from the street is maintained, and which requires material to match existing buildings of the historic district. Currently, the adjacent buildings, which you all reviewed, 4285 MLK, 4364 MLK, respect the setback requirements of the historic district. I do not believe, nor does the community believe, the Family Dollar should be exempt from this requirement. Beyond those requirements, the historic district, beyond the requirements of the historic district standards, community also asks that the owners of the proposed Family Dollar improve management and upkeep of the business, and that owners invest in improving the public right-of-way in front of their facility, specifically replacement of the dead ash trees fronting the building with new street trees that meet the requirements of the historic district and the redevelopment plan. The community welcomes communication with the owners and Family Dollar to clarify our position and share more community input. A community town hall will be upcoming in March, and we invite the owners' attendance and presentation. As a united community, we welcome the opportunity for a new Family Dollar on MLK, but it must be one that is responsibly managed and respect the standards of the historic district. And I am finished with my statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Again, several of those requests are beyond our scope. But thank you for your comments. Ms. Gagan, anybody else?
That's it.
Okay.
I have a question.
Of whom?
I believe of the board.
Can we have a motion before we have discussion?
Sure. I don't have one though.
Okay, I was not trying to trap you into a motion. This would be Commissioner Richardson's motion. Commissioner Richardson, can you get a motion?
I move that the Preservation Board uphold the director's denial as the new commercial building does not meet the Ville Local Historic District standards.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, Commissioner Hammaker?
Yes, I just had a procedural question. If we vote to deny this, they can not appeal it again, but they could apply again with a different site configuration. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, given that that March town hall thing was mentioned, did it make sense for us to deny it now, or did it make sense for us to wait until after this March meeting, thinking that it could change? But if they have the right to apply again with a different proposal, then fine by me.
Cool. Further discussion? Hearing none. I will call a roll. Alderman Coder, on this motion, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammaker, on this motion, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Richardson, on this motion, which was yours, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Chair abstains on this vote, counts 4 yeses, 1 abstention. The appeal is denied. Thank you, commissioners. We're going to go to agenda item E, which is 3326 South 18th Street.
Mr. Chairman, before you do, I need to exit. Are you guys okay without me? Quorum wise?
We're always poorer without you, and we will also lose our quorum.
I can be really quick about this, actually. This is going to be deferred. So if we can do a quick vote to defer the item, that'd be great. You can take off. The applicant has asked to defer the item. So is the neighborhood. We're fine with that. So if you just
So
want to do a
moved.
quick vote.
Second,
Second.
motion made and seconded to defer this. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, this item is deferred. Commissioners, that concludes our business that I can see. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Without objection, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We are adjourned twice. Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right.
Never fails to carry that motion to adjourn.
You've not been at the Board of Aldermen, I can tell you.
Oh,